Okay, thought I'd record one more video. I realized I didn't even introduce myself in introducing myself. My name is Kara, and yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about embodiment because that's something that's been on my mind, coming up a lot lately, just in a lot of the things that I do and see. And I had quite a journey with that topic over probably the last 10 years or so. And I would have to say I didn't know what embodiment meant until probably the last few months, where it's really started to dawn on me what it is that embodiment truly is and offers. And yeah, so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about that. So my journey really started being very, very disconnected from my body, like physically really didn't even understand how to connect with my body or what that meant. I would say I considered my body a vehicle. I considered it a tool to move from point A to point B. And, this journey has really been very much about, I guess, learning to love the soft animal of my body, as Mary Oliver's poem puts it, learning to connect with the soft animal of my body, and really learning what my body has to tell me, what sort of wisdom I have available through connecting to my body. So I've spent probably 10 years kind of not very excited about doing certain practices, knowing that somatic stuff was good for me, but I really didn't enjoy it very much. And part of that was that learning how to come in contact with myself and how to drop into my body and what that even meant. I know my experience when I started a type of coaching that involved somatic or body-based work was really almost offended by the question of, well, what do you feel in your body? Like, that felt intrusive. It felt scary for reasons that I really didn't understand. And I'm mostly reflecting back now. I think at the time I just felt confused. Like, I didn't know what it meant when somebody said, well, where do you feel that? How do you feel that? What do you feel in your body? And so for me, was a tremendous journey to go from being so disconnected, really just being like, a head operating in the world, and to go from that to just now probably beginning to sense in and understand what does it mean to be embodied, and why is that helpful? What does it offer? And yeah, so to me, the topic of embodiment is so key to, this human journey. Not everybody journeys the same way, but I think there's a lot of people that are in big questions about, who are they and why are they here and what's happening in the world and why. It's kind of a wild place right now, if you're paying any attention at all. There's a lot going on. And embodiment is really a way of being with all of that. It's taking things from the spinning of the mind into a more settled, grounded place in the body, where you can really feel like, when all these thoughts are going on, what's actually happening inside me? What do I feel in my heart? What do I feel in my gut? Where do I feel pain, or where do I feel tightness? And just sitting with and feeling into those feelings that show up, and letting them be okay, whatever they are. And that sounds super, super simple. Just sit and feel. It is really not simple, at least it wasn't for me. It wasn't easy for me to get to the point where I understood what that meant and how to go about feeling in and then also how to allow that feeling in to help me be grounded, to help me feel centered, to help me navigate in the world. And I've had some really deeply profound body experiences last year that really, really helped me get in contact with my body in some pretty heavy-duty ways. And they were hard experiences. They weren't, for the most part, like happy experiences, joyful experiences. They were rough experiences. But because I had enough background at that point to kind of recognize what was going on and to work with what was coming up in my body, they were growth experiences versus just being awful, traumatic experiences, right? They were hard too, for my mind, but they also offered me a tremendous opportunity to learn about myself and to have what is traditionally called like the shadow, the dark stuff, the hard things in our psyches, to have some of that stuff come up and be able to work with it and maybe transform it, or at least get to know it, learn about it, spend time with it, accept that I have these parts of myself. And all of that came about because of being able to be in contact with the feelings that were coming up in my body, the sensations, the experiences of just being in a human body. And that's been pretty profound. And yeah, like I said in my introductory video, I'm an engineer. I did not grow up learning how to do these things. I had to seek this out. I'm still learning and looking, and I feel like there's just a lot of need in our world right now for being able to be with what's happening in yourself so that you can be with what's happening in the world. Because there is a lot externally, and probably a lot in each of our individual lives as well, to navigate every day. And just being able to have that skill set of coming back to yourself. That was kind of the most important thing for me over a couple of really interesting experiences I've had in the last probably 2 or 3 years of having these kind of obsessive thoughts about different topics, and then eventually being able to turn those obsessive thoughts into a method of recentering myself. So recognizing like, oh, I'm having that type of thought again, anxiety about the situation in the world or whatever it might be. I'm going to feel in and see what that feels like. I'm just going to see what is happening in my body right now. And on the upside of having kind of an obsessive thought process around things like that, gives me a lot of opportunities when those things are going on throughout a day to catch myself in the act and to use that as an opportunity to come back to myself, to recenter, to touch in, to feel what's going on. So I offer that, I guess, as just a way of talking a little bit about my process as I'm starting to understand it. And a lot of this I'm figuring out as I look back and realize what I've been doing, what I've been learning, and kind of how it's constellated in my system and in my practices. And I guess just to summarize, the thing that I really want to say in this topic of embodiment is it's really important. Being a heady type person, I spend a lot of time learning. That's kind of my go-to, especially when things get stressed out, or when I get stressed out, when things get stressful, is to learn, to take in more input, to try and figure things out, to use my mind. And this unfolding that has been happening for me has been largely me understanding that's beautiful, and that is something that's kind of fundamental to who I am as a person. And what I really need to be doing is also incorporating my feelings, my emotions, my body sensations, all of those things that they don't teach you in engineering school how to navigate at all. They don't teach you in life really how to navigate these things. You kind of have to figure that out for yourself. I think that's a shame. I think that's changing a lot with YouTube and the internet, and people have opportunities to start to figure things out a lot easier and a lot faster maybe than we would have 20 or 30 years ago. So just throwing out there the topic of embodiment. I think it's a huge one for conversation. I imagine I'll talk a lot about it in this space. Yeah, and I think that's all I have to say for now. It's a great day out here. You can hear the birds, hopefully. It's really beautiful. So I hope you have a lovely one. Bye.